I am obsessively worried about almost everything in my life. Oh, book club. Well, let me tell you something. I am an obsessive, compulsive worrier. I worry about everything all the time. So I've had to read tons of books about worry to help me solve my worries. I've woken up at 3 in the morning worrying. I've woken up so crazy. I've had insomnia. I've worried about money so many times. I've gone broke so many times it makes me have almost PTSD about money. So I worry about it all the time, no matter whether I'm doing well or doing poorly. I always think the worst case scenario is going to happen, definitely. Then I worry about my health. And look, with all these worries, first off, I haven't had a checkup since I was 15 years old, which you would think I was healthy, but somebody pointed out something very interesting to me. I'm probably a hypochondriac because I'm probably afraid of what the doctor is going to say about me. So that's why I worry about health. I worry about my kids. I have 5 children that I'm raising, and I worry about them being up in the middle of the night when they're in their 40s or 50s and all of the worries they have, and I won't be able to be there for them. I worry about my relevance in the world. Do I still have things to write about? Do I still have things to podcast about? Do I still have things to say that are interesting to people? I worry about all these things, and part of worry is genetic. My father was a worrier. He died while in an argument about money after going bankrupt, and he had a stroke and then was in a waking coma for 2 horrible years, and then before he died. So I'm worried that could happen to me. I don't want it to. I worry about all sorts of things. I worry about people that I have relationships with. Do they like me? Are they saying things about me? What do I do around people who I struggle with? How do I interact with them? So again, I've had all these worries. There's been times, I'll just give you an example. If you Google right now, "I want to die," in quotes, the phrase, "I want to die," there's 17 million results. I'm number 3 or number 4. Used to be number 1. Google crushed me down by forcibly putting the National Suicide Prevention Hotline there, which they should. But still, number 3, I want to die. I'm not proud of that. But that's why this week I am recommending a great book about worry. It's called Worry, appropriately enough, by Edward Hallowell. And he says something very interesting. He says that worry is often an irrational feeling of vulnerability plus an irrational feeling of diminished power, like you have no control. And so I think, for instance, with money, because I've gone broke so many times, I feel like I'm vulnerable to that happening to me, and I feel like I have no power to stop it. And he says he gives very specific, actionable recommendations on what to do about your worries. So, and I'll explain that in a second. But first of all, this week's book of the week, Worry by Edward Hallowell, Hope and Help for a Common Condition. And there's great stuff in here. There's like the basic steps of worry control. For instance, identify your pattern of worry. Education, constructive feeling. Stop saying, I can't. Or start realizing what's your pattern of worry. Like if I wake up worried often at 3 in the morning, I make an appointment with myself now. Hey, I'll talk to my brain about this at 3 in the afternoon. Lo and behold, at 3 in the afternoon, I'm not worried anymore. So understand your patterns of worry. Be constructive. I'm constructive. Whenever I'm worried, I take out my idea list pad and I start writing down 10 things I can do. And I start doing them. Action defeats worry. So, Worry by Edward Hallowell. What do you think of this place?
I love it.
I don't know though. I get anxious with any big change, as you know. So I think I have to reread Worry by Edward Hallowell, and maybe you should as well.
Okay.
I'm so worried. I feel like I'm walking on the moon sometimes, like I'm in outer space.